MMA Weekly here with the Huntington Beach bad boy, Tito Ortiz. What did you end up doing after we last saw each other at Freddie Roach's? It was outside of Freddie Roach's. You had just gotten started for your camp, and you were sort of shifting into the heavy training, getting back into that. Where did you go from there, and how did you shift it when Coleman dropped out?
Well, I mean, at that time I was wrestling at Cerritos Junior College, wrestling with Jose Lopez and a couple other guys over there who are doing well in their season-round wrestling. I started doing a little bit more kickboxing, but then all of a sudden I get up here and I'm a week into camp. I already hired all my training partners up here, all my wrestler training partners, and our mind was focused on fighting Coleman. He pulls out, and I'm like, how do I find training partners for Forrest now? I had Aaron Rosa actually was getting ready for his fight on Showtime, and him and Forrest are the same size, kind of punch the same way. Aaron's hips a lot heavier wrestling-wise too, so it helped me out a lot. I think it was a blessing in disguise. Forrest took the fight, and I was like, all right. I went from having a warm-up fight to now fighting Forrest. Things could stack up against him a little more. I was like, awesome. All of a sudden, a week later, it's like, all right, Brock Lesnar gets sick and he can't fight because he's sick. Okay, I was just sick 2 weeks ago and I ain't planning no fight. Now the main event. Cool, let's stack some more cards against me.
Right.
Pressure is what I survive for, I guess. That's what life's about.
So when you were offered Forrest Griffin, what was your rationale behind taking the fight? Because obviously you beat him in the first fight, but looking at where he's at in his career right now, he's coming off of a loss. It would seem like there's almost a little bit more for you to lose in this coming around this time.
There's a lot for every one of my fights to lose. I've done a lot in this sport to get my name where it is, and Forrest is ranked 5th in the world. I looked at that as a positive. People expect Forrest to be a better fighter. I look at that as a positive. Forrest is a big name. I look at it as it's going to help the pay-per-view. I look at it as a huge positive. It went from fighting Coleman to people going, Tito's going to crush him, to now he's fighting Forrest. So this looks like a better fight. Forrest is a different fighter than the first time Tito fought him. And I really look at it as, I think this is a motivator for me.
How do you think he's a different fighter or a better fighter?
Him winning the light heavyweight world title, the heart he shows, the tenacity he shows during his fights, against Silva didn't really show just because Silva's so slick. He's fast, he moves fast, and he has great angles on his punches, and he puts his weight behind his punches. This is stuff that I worked with Freddie, was put my weight behind my punches and moving, not standing in front of a guy and just sitting there. And I think that's the most important thing. With Forrest, let's see if he can take some blows. I know he's cutting down from about 240, and when you cut that much weight, and I don't think he understands yet, is it really dehydrates the brain. So when you do get punched in the face, you get knocked out a little easier.
Really?
Yeah. So from him cutting down from 240, I think he's going to see a big challenge.
Right.
I'm walking around right now about 220. On the heavy days, 221, 222. On the lightest days, 217 is kind of slows down. But my weight's perfect, right where I want it to be. I'm in great shape, I'm running, I'm doing all the extra stuff I need to do, and wrestling, and, sparring. It's been fun. It's been a fun camp.
How do you feel you've changed as a fighter, other than the fact that you're not coming into this with an MCL and an ACL injuries and a back that's shot? How do you feel you've changed other than those that you're coming in healthy?
I think the new back is what really did it for me. Not having the back problems. People won't understand the back problems that they have in themselves. If they had a bulging disc, they would understand what I went through. I try to do it with 6 days a week of training, running, lifting, wrestling. And there was days that I couldn't do it. When I fought Forrest first time, there was things I couldn't do at all. I was training 1-2 days at the most per week. And this time around, I put my time in. I put my work in. So, to see if Forrest could handle the onslaught of me being on top of throwing elbows and punches. The last time he barely survived. And I give him heart. And all he was looking for was my respect. I give him all the respect in the world. I respect Forrest. I respect Forrest more than anything. And I think that's why I've taken this fight that much more serious.
You've also spoken about a difference in the way that you approach the fight game. You obviously sell the fight game very well spoken. You've taken communication classes, whereas he seems to he doesn't want to be adored by players. He doesn't want to be followed. He seems to come from a completely different perspective. What's your take on the way that he approaches the fight game with regards to the fans, pleasing the fans, and being that star?
With Forrest, I think he got thrown into the big punch right off the bat. Doing the Ultimate Fighter, he got thrown into the whirlwind of the PR machine that UFC is. I've really seen.
And he wasn't prepared for that?
I don't think he was prepared for it. I've been able to do it over the last 12 years. I've been able to been there when we would beg for this many people to come for a press day, and I built for this stuff. But there's not many fighters like me at all, just because of the things I've been through during my life, the things I've put myself through during training, and the things that I've been exposed to through UFC. I really have challenged myself in PR opportunities that UFC have gave to me, and exposed them to the fullest. Forrest has just done it to fight. I do it to spread my word of not just the brand of punishment, but my brand of Tito Ortiz of really selling the pay-per-views, selling the out arenas, and doing as much as possible.
A couple last questions about Forrest. Forrest talked about the first round of your fight as kind of a changing, a watershed experience for his career, in the sense that he realized that he could hang with guys like you in that first round, because obviously you took him down, you beat the crap out of him in the first round, clear win, but he came back in the second and third rounds. Do you think he's sort of, that in a way that you sort of created him in a way, because you were the moment that he realized he could hang with the top level guys?
Yeah, I think I made a mistake. My emotions take over sometimes, and I think my emotions were, I could crush this guy with one leg. Maybe I should have took the fight. Maybe I should have waited a couple months to let my body heal, and did it right. Where I come out the second round and make it look like the first round, and the referee would have stopped it. I remember after that fight, me and Forrest, we bumped into each other in the hotel, and we're actually on the same floor. I walked out of my room, and he walked out of his room.
How was that?
He came out with a coffee, and I came out with a chick. I looked at Forrest and I go, "What's up, buddy?" He goes, "Man, I'm sore." Yeah, I'm pretty sore too. So my body hurts, man. I go, "God, can you imagine? I'm only 60%. Can you imagine me at 100?" And he just smiled and shook his head and walked away and drove off in his Scion. Forrest, he's been in huge fights before. Can he take damage? Let's see. Let's see if he can take damage. Because I'm going to cause the most amount of damage in the shortest amount of time. I'm going to try to draw blood. And I know he has heart. I know I respect him. He's been there before. But does he want to be there anymore? We'll see. I'm going to push the tempo. I'm going to press him. I'm going to press his heart. I'm going to press his mind. And I'm going to hit him with shots and see if he can survive with some of the shots. And I'm just hoping for an exciting fight. I'm going to make sure the fans get their bang for their buck. And every time they buy a Tito Ortiz pay-per-view, they're getting it. And I'm going to keep doing it.